Hello everyone, this is part 4 on Introduction to Scratch Programming, and in this video we will be looking upon the looks block. As you can see, after the motion blocks, from here we have arrived to the next part of blocks, which are the looks block. So let's start exploring these blocks. So as you can see, the first block right over here, when you drag them in the script area, and when I click on that, so as you can see, a speech bubble arrives for 2 seconds, as the time set here is 2 seconds, and it says hello. So you can see this cat saying hello for 2 seconds, and I can also change the time to like 5 seconds, and I can change the speech bubble like hello, I am the scratch cat. So when I click on this block, as you will see, the speech bubble says hello, I am the scratch cat for 5 seconds, and it stops. So the next block is say hello. So what is the difference between these two blocks? So as you can see, there is a difference of the seconds block. So as you can see, there is no space here for the seconds. So that makes all the difference. So when I click on that, so it says hello for all the time till the time we make another block. We use another block to stop that. So it doesn't depend on the time we use, and like that we can make the cat say hello for the indefinite time, like that. But as you can see, there are 4 blocks here like that, which are saying say hello for 2 seconds, say hello, and this think for 2 seconds, and this think So we have discussed about these 2 say blocks, and when I click on that, you will see that there is a speech bubble like that. And when I click on this one, you can see there is a different speech bubble here, which makes us to think that the cat is thinking. So it is just similar to the say hello for 2 seconds block here, the think for 2 seconds, but only the difference is the speech bubble is changing. I can also set it to okay. I got it. So when I click on that, it will say okay, I got it, and it will stop saying that. Stop thinking that, because it is a think block. And the same goes to the think block. It goes for infinite time, and it is irrespective to the time we take, like that. And we have covered the 4 blocks of the looks block. Now the next 4 blocks arrives: the switch costume to costume 2, the next costume, the switch backdrop to backdrop 1, and the next backdrop. So you will see that when I go from this code section here to the costume section there, you can see there are 2 costumes over here. This is the overview of the costume, and this is the next costume. When I click on that, the sprite changes its costume like that. So we can change it in our codes from these 2 blocks. So now, as you can see, when I click on this switch costume to costume 2, the costume switches to the second costume of the name costume 2 right over here. As you can see, the costume name is costume 2 and the first costume name was costume 1. So you can also change the costume which you want from the drop down menu here, and it will say like switch costume to costume 1, and nothing will happen as the cat was already in that costume. But when I select the costume 2 and I click on that, the cat switches the costume to the costume of costume 2. So now comes the next costume block here. So when I click on that, the costume switches serially in this order in which we make the costumes. So like when I duplicate that, go like that, and I put that there, and I duplicate that one. So now we have 4 costumes right there, and let me select the first one there, and when I click on the next costume, the costume switches to costume 2. When I click that again, the costume switches to costume 3 right there. So that goes on, and it helps us to make the serial movement, serial switches of the costume. So now let's have a look at the next costume block, and from the motion let's take the change x by 10 block. So when I click on that, the cat moves forward and switches costume. So when I click on that repeatedly, it seems to like the cat is moving and it is switching the costume, and it is having a good animation there. When I set it back to 0 and I put that next costume there, and let me set that 0 to minus 240. So when I click that block there, you will see the cat is moving forward and it is changing its costume there. So as you can see, it seems to like a good animation we have made. Now I'll set it back to 0, and now you can make your animations starting from now. But there are also these 2 blocks here, the switch backdrop to backdrop 1 and the next backdrop. So what are backdrops? So as you can see in the stage block here, stage sprite, we have 1 backdrop right over there. We have 1 backdrop, and let me have some more backdrops from the Scratch library. Let's take this boardwalk and some more, this canyon, and let's take some more, this farm. So firstly I'll set the backdrop to backdrop 1, and now what this switch backdrop to backdrop 1 will do is it will go and switch the backdrop to the specific backdrop we choose to. Like I will choose the canyon backdrop, and when I click on that, the backdrop switches to canyon there. And when I select boardwalk and I click on the block there, the backdrop switches to boardwalk. That is very simple. So let's have a look on the series of these backdrops. So firstly we have backdrop 1 with nothing in it, only a white screen. So second backdrop we have is the boardwalk, there, and in the third backdrop we have this canyon, and in the fourth backdrop we have this farm. So let's set it back to backdrop 1 and go in our sprite, and let's click on this next backdrop, and as you will see, the backdrop will change in the sequence it is set here. As you can see, the first backdrop was blank, the second backdrop is boardwalk, and the third backdrop was canyon, and the fourth backdrop was farm. So like that. So this is very helpful for making animations, and this will enhance your animations by simply putting the next costume block and reducing your efforts. So now we have looked over the first 8 blocks of the look section. Now let's look on the change size by 10 and the set size to 100% blocks, like that. And let's have a look. When I click on this change size by 10, so observe the cat there. When I click on that, the sprite 1 gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So by simply changing the size by 10, we maximize the size by 10%. So when I set that to -10, so basically it will reduce the cat sprite size, like that. It get reduced, and there. So we had a look on the change size by block, and now let's have a look on set size to 100% block. So if I set that to 200% and I click on that, you will see the cat very big than before. And when I set that to 50% and I click that block, you will see this cat very small than the usual. So this block will help us to go on a specific number of size we want in our animations, just like we want the scene to go back and far from the scene place. So we can say that it can switch, it can change the size by -10 there when we want the scene to go far, like that. So it will reduce its size to up to 5%, and that's the limit in Scratch. So you can also change the sprite size manually by this size block here in this sprite's description right here. You can see you can change the sprite's name, X and Y coordinates. You can show and hide it, like that. And you can also change the direction. We had seen the X and Y and the direction blocks in the motion blocks in the later in the previous videos. So let's in this video we will be looking on the show block and the size block. So we have seen up to this, we have covered 10 blocks here, and now the remaining blocks are change color effect by 25 and set color effect to 0. So these two blocks are controlling the graphics of the cat totally. All the graphics of the cat are controlled by these two blocks. So as you will see, the change color effect by 25 block, when I click on that, you will see the cat's color change to green from its original one, because you will see on its costume, when I click on this fill block here, you will see a line which will make the color of the sprite. So when you will see that the color effect is 0, then it is set to red, and then when I set it to 25, then it is set to green. So that's why the color of the sprite switches to green. And when I will click on change color effect by 25 again, then what will happen is it will shift to 50 there, right there. It will become blue. So you want to have a look, then check that. You will see that it switches to blue like that. And when you want to change the color to a specific amount you need, then you can use this set color effect to 0 block. So as you can see, the color effect is switches to 0 and the sprite looks back to normal. So you can see there is a drop down menu here, and it will show you a number of graphic effects here. So let's have a look one by one on them. So first we looked on color. Now let's look at the fisheye block. So here too I'll set it to fisheye, and when I click on this change fisheye effect by 25, then just observe the cat and see what happens. As you can see, the center of the cat gets little bulgy, and it makes it to look a little weird, and it will help you to make fun animations like that. So when I click that again, you will see it becomes more bulgy from the center, and it goes on when I click on that. So as you will see that it goes on. And what if I want to set it back to 0 as back to normal? So I will click on set fisheye effect to 0. So it neutralizes the effect and switches the fisheye effect to 0 like that. So we had a look on fisheye and color till now. We will have a look on the whirl effect here. So what is this whirl effect? It's just opposite to the fisheye effect. The fisheye effect made it go bulgy, and this whirl effect will make it shrink a little bit from the center like that. When I click on the change whirl effect by 25, just see it makes it whirl and go inside. As you will see, it becomes like a whirlpool there, and it's very fun there. What if I want the cat to set back to normal and change the whirl effect to back to normal? So I will click on set whirl effect to 0. So that's how you can set it back to 0. So these blocks will help you in making your animations. So let's have a look on the pixelate block. Change pixelate effect by 25. Right here I'll set it back to set pixelate effect to 0, and when I click on this change pixelate effect by 25, let's see what happens. So as you can see, the picture becomes little bit blurry, and you will see a lot of squares instead of these lines. So like that, you will see it will become more and more blurry on the part on this sprite, and you can see that it becomes blurry and blurry, and like that. You will see it vanishes. So it helps to make your pictures blurry, and you can set it back to 0 by setting pixelate effect to 0. So let's have a look on this mosaic effect. Let's have a look. Change mosaic effect by 25 and set mosaic effect to 0. So when I click on change mosaic effect by 25, So let's see what happens. Oh, you can see there are many small sprites of the cat. When I change the size, you will be able to see it more clearly, like that. You will see there are 16 here, and when I set it back to 0, the cat becomes like that. So I can click on that, the size gets shrinked, and the number of as you can see, the number of sprites get increased. So as you can see, like that, the size get decreased and the number of sprites get increased. So when I switch the costume, like that, you will see a fun animation there, a fun game, and I can set it back to 0. I'll set its size back to 100, and it is back to normal. So now let's have a look on this brightness effect. There, brightness, and for that let's change the backdrop to boardwalk there, and I will go in the sprite, and let's see what these two blocks will do in the brightness effect. Let's see. When I click on change brightness effect by 25, as you will see, the sprite becomes more brighter than before, and when I click that again, you will see it becomes more and more brighter, like that. It becomes more bright and it vanishes. As you will see, there only a white cat there. I can set it back to 0 there. And what if you want to make the cat go in the make it dull? So you can simply switch that 25 to -25, and you can click that, so it becomes dull, more dull, and completely black. So I'll set it to 0 there, here, and let's have a look on this ghost effect. So what this ghost effect do is, it controls the transparency or the opacity of the sprite. So let's have a look. When I set the change ghost effect by 25 there, you will see the cat becoming transparent a little bit there, like that. You will see the background from the sprite there. So when I click that again, you will see it becomes more transparent, and when I click that, it becomes more and more transparent than before. As you can see, the backdrop from the sprite. So when I click that again, the sprite vanishes. So why is like that? So it becomes completely opaque, completely transparent, and from this you can have fun animations, and even you can use them in your games. So when I set the ghost effect to 0, like that, so it switches back to 0. So now we had a look on these two blocks there, like that, and now let's have a look on another interesting block, which is this clear graphic effects. So for now, let's change the ghost effect of the cat to 100, like that. And now you can also change the fisheye effect to 100. And now when I clear the graphic, okay, let me show you that. Set ghost effect to 0 from here. When I click that, you will see the cat again, and you will see the fisheye effect there. And okay, and also when I click on the whirl effect now, you will see the cat whirling, and I can also make it pixelate, pixelate there. And now what if I want the original character of the sprite to show? So there is a simple way to do that in Scratch. So I will just need to click on clear graphic effects. So as you can see, the cat switches back to its normal original appearance, and this will help you to minimize your scripts and help you to work efficiently. So now let's have a look and on these two blocks, show and hide. So their name suggests that when you click on hide, the sprite will hide, and when you click on show, the sprite will show, like that. And now there are only these 5 blocks left. So let's say, let me introduce you to these 2 blocks first. For that I'll need to choose some sprites. So let me choose this ball and some more, like this balloon there, and this basketball, like that. So you can see there are three sprites I selected, and now let's drag them there, like that, and this one like this. So as you can see, the cat sprite is hiding behind these 3 blocks, these 3 sprites. So what if you want the cat to go in front of these sprites? So what I can do is I can say it that go forward by 1 layers. So I'll tell you about layers now. Each sprite has 1 layer on Scratch. So what happens is, when each sprite has a layer, then one of the layer will be at the top of the sprite, and the second layer will be on the second, the third layer on the third, and so on. So now currently the last layer is our backdrop, but we can't change the layer of the backdrop there. You will see that we can only switch its costume, and we can do that, change color effect and wall effect, like that. We can set the clear graphics, and also we have the background number block. So we can only change the sprites layers by like that. So what if I say the cat to go on the top of these sprites? So I can do it manually like that, but what if you want the computer to do it automatically? So I can say that in the cat sprite by clicking on go to forward 1 layers block. So when I click that, you can see the basketball, which was above the cat, it goes behind, and when I click that again, you will see the balloon going back, and now only the ball remains on the top. So when I click that again, you will see that the cat has came to the front layer, and this will help you to make your animations ready. So we have these go forward and backward layers by 1 layers, like that, and I click them like that, and I select like that, and when I click on go backward by 1 layers, when I click that, you will see the ball going above the cat. When I click that again, you will see the basketball going in front of the cat, and now when I click that again, you will see the cat going at the back layer. So if you want the cat to directly go to the front layer and come above, so what you can do is clicking the go to front layer block. So let us check that. First of all, let's put the cat at the back, and when I click on go to front layer, so the layer of the cat goes to the front above all the sprites. So similarly you can also check that go to back layer, so the cat moves backwards. So now we don't need these sprites. Now we can only work with a cat sprite from now. So the only 3 blocks remaining are these: costume number, backdrop number, and the size. So let's check them like that. When I say hello for 2 seconds, instead of that hello, I'll put the size variable from here and put it in this hello, and when I click on say size for 2 seconds, then you will see that the cat says 100 because its size here is set to 100%. So what if I change its size to 300? So as you can see, the cat is that big, and when I click on that, the cat will say 300. So similarly, you can also make the cat to say its costume number and the backdrop number. So when I select the costume number instead of the size, you can make the cat say costume number for 1 second, then it will say the 1 number, as the costume is 1 right here. It will show you your costume number there. You can see it is 2 here, 3 here, and the 4 here. You can also make the cat to say the costume name there. When I click that, it will say costume 1. So I can name the costume as cat. Now for the first costume, so now if I make it to say costume name, it will say cat. You can also do the same thing with the backdrop number and the backdrop name. When I click that, it will say 2, as the backdrop number here is 2, which we have selected. This is 2 there, and I can also put that name there. It will say boardwalk, as the name was boardwalk when we have collected that. So I think you might have enjoyed this tutorial, and you have hopefully learned about the looks block in Scratch. If you have any doubt, then make sure to comment, and if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe my channel and hit the bell notification for all to see such videos more and more. Thanks for watching.